You're listening to EARTH'S Mightiest Podcast, episode 167.
Yay!
Hey, we're not rusty. What are you talking about?
Two-thirds of the way. Episode.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, we actually have new books.
Two-thirds of the way through the next 100, I mean. And new book. What more could you ask for?
Indeed. We actually have a Facebook comment.
That's cool.
And so we'll get into that. I'm fairly sure a new commenter, Kyle Moyer, writes on our Facebook fan page, which we don't get much from, but much appreciated. He says, I've started listening, but 6 months out since I read via Marvel Comics Unlimited.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. He says, all that is to say that the intro, the first 10, 15 minutes or so, you'll know what I'm... saying all to say that the intro, the first 10, 15 minutes or so, you'll know what point I'm referring to. Episode 160 needs to be listened to again with some 2020 hindsight. Laughing emoji, laughing emoji.
Really?
Yeah. So I was curious and I gave it a listen. And there was a point in that episode, and this was in December 2019. Right, that episode 160, and there's a point in time where we were talking about hoarding books, and then I talked about how I, for some reason, I continue to hoard books in just in case, like, there's a dystopian future.
Yeah, I remember.
Where we're stuck inside and there's nothing to do, and so now we can catch up with all these books.
I remember that. I do, in fact.
Yeah, then I was just like, "Is that what you're talking about?" He's like, "Yup."
Nailed
your
it.
fault.
And then the future was only a few months away.
Right.
And then Corin said it was my fault.
It's all Viet's fault.
And then he did post that the GIF of the Twilight Twilight Zone, was it clip where he's like, no, now I can read all these books. His glasses break.
Have all the time in the world.
Yeah.
Twilight Zone.
Yeah, that one episode where
I've never seen that one.
Oh, it's awesome. Where he gets kind of what his wish is, and the world is pretty much ended, and he's just there with a huge library of books.
His glasses break.
Yeah, his glasses break. He's like, no. That's
So I got a question. How is what's like the mask wearing situation like where you guys are at? Like, is everybody still doing it, or do they not? Or do, like, I don't know, like from where I'm
you blanked out, Bobby. What?
Yeah.
You just said what's and then it blanked out. I didn't hear what you said.
All right. Well, my question was, what's the mask wearing situation like where you guys are? Like, because as far as like when I listen to like, morning edition, and my morning drives and stuff, like Florida is like overrun with crazies who don't like follow the like personal space mandates, and like the all open for business in Florida, and like there's so many more new cases and everything now, and I was wondering what it's really like, and what it's like also like where you are, Corwin.
I get a good mixture. The other places I go and I see people not wearing anything, and then people that do So it's a good mixture. Unfortunately, I wish people were a lot smarter about it and more people did wear masks. But I think one of these days last week we had over 15,000 new cases or something like that.
Damn.
Yeah, Florida is the epicenter for COVID-19 right now.
Right.
Like, as in, compared to the world, we're the epicenter. Like, as in, Florida has more cases than all of Europe.
Right. Which is pretty fucked up. Obviously, I know you're not going crazy, Viet, so I know that's not like everyone, but like I just was wondering what it's like.
There's more people wearing masks now, but at least from what I see, but there's always like
still not quite right.
There's still like one or two people that you still see, and then
waving their carrot banners and just screaming, "Come and get them from my cold dead hands." Come and put a mask over my cold dead body.
Corwin, are you hearing Bobby blank out? Or
no,
is it just
he's
me?
going in and out. I don't know. I thought it was me at first, but no, he's going in and out.
I don't know why.
It's not terrible, but we can keep rolling. Just we have to keep an ear on it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Okay.
Yeah. It's still the mask situation still sucks, but I'm still. Well, I mean, at least in like I live close. I live in a college town, so they're kind of putting more mask mandates, because they believe in science.
Right.
And so like I think a lot of businesses are requiring it now. So that's good.
The scariest part is the fact that people are not keeping antibodies. They can get COVID again. So it's like this thing is not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's scary.
My favorite. Yeah, I mean, I guess we should have saved this for EMBS, but like, but it's funny because there's that one meme that was the next zombie movie comes out. If I don't see a bunch of idiots like running head on into the zombie horde, wanting to own the libs, like, I'm gonna call BS and say it's not accurate.
Right. Yeah, that's like the equivalent, right? It's the literal equivalent. That makes a pretty good point. Well, yeah, just wondering how you Southerners are doing down there.
How are things looking up there?
It's yeah, I mean, like people are pretty much in lockstep at this point. Almost everybody masks on a lot of the time. Definitely if you go to like a grocery store or you can't go in Target without a mask. Can't go in Walmart without a mask. Walmart, there'll be a line a lot of the times of the day where because they're counting certain number of people they allow in at a time, stuff like that. It's just weird looking. It's still, I guess we're supposed to get used to this as the new normal, but it just does feel in a lot of ways very like
Twilight Zone-ish,
apocalyptic still. Yeah, it just feels very weird to me. It's hard to get used to.
We got less than a month until school's supposed to start, so now it's really going to get interesting.
Oh, yeah. Are you going to let your kids go to school?
I doubt it. I very much doubt it.
Well, yeah. I mean, probably smart, I guess. I don't know. I'm glad I don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
What are you going to do for Luke? Is he going to go to doggy daycare or what?
some cases that like dogs can get it, and I was just like, oh god.
Is that really true? I was just gonna say, I was like, I suppose I don't really know. I'm probably making jokes.
There's like some rare cases where like I remember like the tigers got it like at the zoo and stuff.
Oh boy.
But yeah, he's fine.
He's good. He'll be just fine. Pretty soon we'll see dogs with masks. What did you say? Muzzle? No, it's a Corona
dog mask will be the new thing. Corona muzzle.
Yeah, Corona muzzle.
All right.
Well,
let's talk about podcast reviews.
Yeah. So, podcast reviewing is one of the best ways we've got to spread the news about Earth's mightiest podcast. In the ocean of other podcasts, it's our lifeline that draws listeners to us. Super easy and quick. So please leave a 5-star rating for us in your favorite podcast listening app, whatever it is you read, but especially iTunes if you use it. You can also, if you're feeling particularly like, the government's giving you some extra money during this crisis and you don't know where to put it, you can subscribe, give us a little something to boost their coffers at patreon.com/EMPcast. We try to work hard to get episodes out to you guys, even in these dramatic times. It's good to have something to listen to. That's how you can help to support us. And there's even some special reward tiers that you can get, like comics and sketches and even coffee mugs, stuff like that. So, yeah, thank you. Please do that.
All right, we're going to let Tribe One take it from here.
Now appearing in the building, up in every ear hole from 80-year-olds to the children. You're here to hear about the heroes and the villains and save yourself some dollars, yen, and euros from the zeros to the millions. This is a lot of class packed into one podcast. They probably ought to have laws passed, but it's too late to stop the onslaught. Raw blast of compacted, bombastic, 5-alarm sass. They're talking AVX, way back to Secret Invasion. They're talking flying up high in the sky, down to the feet on the pavement. They're reading the pages of every single one of the summer events. So other than Venice, you want to be coming to them when you want the Avengers. They're up inside of your environment with flying iron fists, giant-sized Goliaths, and the tiniest super scientists. Try denying it, but I insist. There's other podcasts, but this is Earth's mightiest. EMP, literally MP3 TNT. Young, new, mighty, and secretly. Try denying it, but I insist. There's other podcasts, but this is Earth's mightiest. EMP, literally MP3 TNT. Young, new, mighty, and secretly. Try denying it, but I insist. There's other podcasts, but this is Earth's mightiest.
Avengers Assemble!
This is Earth's Mightiest Podcast. I am Corwin, and with me, as always, are Viet.
Hello.
And the noisy Bobby.
Hello. Hi.
We stand strong as your frontline to the Avengers titles published by Marvel Comics. We defend you from the bad books and avenge the books that you may have missed, or the books that you have been missing since it's been 2 months since we've had any new issues. And thankfully, it is back.
Well.
Yes. Issues will be rated from 1 to 5, with 1 being very, very bad, and 5 being very, very good. There will be spoilers, so consider... And your ass warned. Specifically, your ass.
Specifically, well, so I guess in the traditional way of things, I would get first dibs, right?
doesn't matter. You were Corwin, I guess, or me, or I didn't have time to designate who gets what.
No doubt. Well, we probably got time for everybody to kind of chime in, but I'll go ahead and start on Avengers number 33, written by Jason Aaron, with art actually this time by
Javier Garon.
Garon.
Thank you. And what we are dealing with is Moon Knight taking a run at basically everyone on the Avengers roster. And, well, a lot of Avengers that are not on the main roster, actually, I should say. But like Doc Strange, Iron Fist, and some people like that. Kind of ending with a big final fight with the Black Panther, where Konshu kind of like manifests with a lot of powers and seem power ups that maybe are coming from the supermoon. And we kind of, with a kind of tone of finality, T'Challa calls Cap and says, "The Avengers are yours now," and goes into battle with Konshu. But Konshu or Mark Spector, whoever's under that mask, to have bested everyone he's fought so far, and looks like he's gonna keep doing some more of that. So it's a pretty serious beatdown.
Oh, I love this issue. Yep. It was just so ridiculous and fun. I mean, just the beginning fight where he's fighting Iron Fist, and of course, every move that Iron Fist has a name: Frozen Lotus Palm Block, Furious Forearm of Second Thoughts, Eagle Defensive Claw Flurry, like all these things. And then when it comes time for
everything is fist of
exactly
fist of Konshu, fist of Konshu.
Yeah, that was cool. I like that too.
And then of course Danny's trying to reach out to him, trying to talk to him, but he's on a mission until one of these onks literally steals that Shanlo's chi from him, which is just like, oh, okay.
Oh, and I did forget also that what was it? He was able to steal the Hell Charger. That was kind of intense. Mm-hmm. And then we also there's a pretty interesting piece of information that basically alluding to the fact that Thor's hammer is made from moon rocks. I mean, he kind of says like that substance uru that they just have talked about as being the metal that the hammer is forged from, which is something left over from the beginning of the universe. But yeah, basically because there's somehow it's also like related to the moon, and so he's able to take Mjolnir from Thor, and then he does that old throws a moon at Thor. Thor doesn't like that, a la Endgame, if you will, or a la Infinity War. You throw another moon at me, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah, it was really out of nowhere to see him take control of Mjolnir like that. Even though he doesn't touch it, he's just able to manipulate it.
It was still really weird.
And then even the fight with Doctor Strange, I was just loving. I mean, there's these priests of Konshu helping him, but he literally punched Doctor Strange with some an Ankh brass knuckles and leaves an imprint in his forehead, and then takes his powers.
It's an interesting issue. I mean, I was expecting we were going to see something more related to Empire. Maybe that's upcoming still, but and of course my one thought that I did have was like, wow, another side story for Jason Aaron to throw into the mixture with all these Avengers things that have been going on.
The cool thing is, go ahead, finish.
No, yeah, it seems like it's like maybe leading into something, or going to be sort of maybe a smaller detail of one of the greater stories. So I'm not too worried about this being like spiraling off into some weird direction.
Well, the thing is, they are doing the Empyre Avengers miniseries, so that's going to deal with that, while Jason Aaron is over here just kind of doing his own thing. I will note at the end when we see Moon Knight kneel before Konshu, and Konshu shows up, they make a comment here. Let me find it. They make a comment that he says, "My name is Moon Knight, the Fist of Konshu, Earth's mightiest hero, Earth's last hope against the devil." And then Konshu says, "Well done, my fist. Konshu approves. Now we can save the world."
Yeah,
so, I mean, this could be them dealing with whatever Mephisto's been up to.
Dealing with Mephisto, actually, that crossed my mind too.
But if you...
And notice that he got the people that he had tagged are all whatever the 6 million BC Avengers or whatever.
That's how he discusses them, right? Because he says that Starbrand is still in hiding and Phoenix was like untethered or something.
Yes.
Discusses them as.
But yeah, like so he.
I guess what I thought of it as is as discussing them as those archetypal Avengers from the 6 million BC issue, or the 1 million BC issue, whatever it is.
Right.
So.
Yeah. I guess he doesn't have. And then so yeah, I guess it's still in play is going after the Starbrand baby, and then somehow bring. I guess.
Somehow what? I lost you for a second.
Yeah, I lost you
somehow.
On that one.
Somehow bring up the Phoenix.
Well, we know the Phoenix is coming from the conversation Namor had with it, because he felt it coming. So we know there's something there with it. Now, I think I mentioned it last episode, the Into the Night podcast, KNIGHT. They did a real good coverage of this, but then they also went into some backstory about this other deity, evil deity, the Worm or something like that. So if you really want some Moon Knight history of who this other devil may be, if it's not Mephisto, check that podcast out. I do like the fact that Black Panther was unaffected by the Ankh, since he's saying, my powers, what does he say? It's in me, it's in my blood. If you want it, you have to take all of me. So he agrees to actually go with Moon Knight. So even though Moon Knight's not able to take his power, Black Panther is that X factor there that can, possibly work against Moon Knight and Konshu.
Yeah, I guess you're sort of, he surrenders. You're right. He says, "You convinced me, Moon Knight. I surrender. Leave Wakanda be, and I'll come with you peacefully."
Yeah, because he holds out the Ankh and nothing happens, and he's surprised. He's like, "What?" He's surprised he couldn't take his power.
Right. And he says, "I'll go with you peacefully." Mark Spector says, "No, I'm afraid it won't be peaceful. Sorry for this." And he pulls out the Ankh, and T'Challa's like, "Sorry for what? For taking up my time?" And Moon Knight's like, "Why isn't this? The Ankh should be affecting you." And that's when T'Challa leans in and says, "My power's in my blood. So if you want it, you'll have to take all of me. Let us go then, Fist of Konshu." And then that's the end of that's the end of that part of the issue. And then he goes into this fight with Thor, which is pretty intense.
I love the fact that with almost everybody he faces them in a different costume.
Yep. Well, that was kind of like what made me, as I was giving the summary, like I was saying Mark Spector, and then or Moon Knight or Konshu, or he seems to be, presenting as more than one individual, which I know is part of his whole shtick, is his multiple personality thing.
But he says it right at the beginning when he's fighting Iron Fist. He's like, "I'm not off my meds. I'm not delusional. This is me."
He says that, but that's easy to say for a crazy person. I mean, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. I'm not sure what exactly to take on Faith when Mark Spector is talking. So I guess we'll see what we shall see. So what do you guys think of the art?
It was good.
It was interesting.
It's not, top talent. It's not,
It's pretty solid. Yeah, it's not A work. I think his big detriment is probably faces, honestly. A lot of the faces are kind of, they're just weird. Like Thor in particular is not looking too hot. Particularly flat-faced, I would have to say. But it's got a lot of like grit and like kind of like it's got a very lived-in feel. I liked that aspect to it. Doesn't look like so much like a lot of the art does these days. Like it came definitely off of a drawing tablet. Looks like it's almost possible that it was drawn by hand. I think I'm almost certain that Robbie Reyes has a Warriors poster on his wall.
Yep.
Like
come out and play.
Yeah.
I love this army that he has, the mummies
cool.
And everything, like fighting Doctor Strange or when he invades Wakanda. It's this huge army behind him.
Yeah, it's just some cool stuff I hadn't.
Yeah, he's like, wait a minute, I don't have to use the army. Oh,
right.
Okay. It's like I brought all these mummies for nothing.
And nunchucks.
I just hadn't seen this aspect before of of how Moon Knight presents. I haven't been keeping totally up on Moon Knight lately, but definitely surprised me.
I haven't been keeping. I have pretty much all the issues of all the series recently, but I haven't read them yet either. Just backlog of stuff, but yeah. Jason Aaron set a bar pretty high with this. I almost feel bad for him because I'm a little bit worried he can't, go any higher. I'm afraid he's not gonna be able to stick the landing with this because
he'll find a way.
I hope so.
You mean like it's a really good setup now? What's he gonna do to like bring
keep
it all
going?
Home?
I mean, I hope we don't get an all talking issue, but he may be able to pull it off. Of course, it's Jason Aaron, but he set the bar pretty high, and I don't know. We'll see. It's exciting though. I will say it's exciting. When I read it, I texted you guys like, "Did you guys read Avengers today?"
Yeah. That's right, you did. So do you think this story will just be like, are they gonna wrap it up in the next issue?
I think it's gonna be a story arc, maybe 4 or 5 issues, but he hit the ground running with this, so he can't slow it down anytime soon.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely true. That's definitely true.
For all we know, Konshu could be Mephisto the whole time.
Except for the moon powers that he's displaying, taking control of Mjolnir and stuff, and bringing moons. What did he do? He brought moons from different galaxies. Well,
yeah, I like that. That was really cool.
He actually used the Eye Agamotto to do that too, but and they're called satellites, not moons. It's one of those science things.
Well, I just like I like talking about what's it called? He's talking about like it's the biggest supermoon in like a million years or something like that, and I liked the writing was really good. Yeah. It's really strong. They worked really well with the mythology of Moon Knight and and his obvious intimate knowledge of the Avengers at this point shows. So and I just, my last comment about the art, I guess, is that what I most importantly felt like was that it didn't jar me out of the like main succession of the art. It felt like it was in step with what we've been seeing, which is nice. Sometimes when you get a guest artist and it's like, some style that's out of left field, it can be really jarring, but I didn't feel that way, so that was cool.
Yeah, it's a decent compliment to the Ed McGuinness art.
That's the word I was looking for. Complimentary.
Yeah. Oh, Bobby,
the action was really solid.
Let's say, Bobby, you're right too. He names
What
I'm not
happened?
saying you're right. He named his different selves as the issue ends. Mark Spector, Steve Grant, Jake Lockley. So he kind of does go through all of his personalities as he explains what he did today. Exciting stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and give it 4 different personalities.
4 fists of Konshu.
Yeah, I'll give it a 4.5 Ox of Konshu.
Was it 4.5 yet?
Yeah.
Ox of Konshu. You went out for a little bit again.
Yeah, like you guys are like completely blanking out. Like my recording is shit.
I wonder though. I wonder, like, sometimes this happens where we don't hear it, but the recording actually picks it up.
Yeah, I hope it's picking up on your side, Corin, because mine is god awful.
Well, we'll make it work.
Worst case scenario, you know what I mean?
We'll make it work one way or another. All right, so we've got Empyre Avengers number 0, which is the tie-in to the Empyre event, which we kind of got a little in-depth with some of the history lessons we were doing before. We got Al Ewing on writing, Pepe Larraz on art, Marte Gracia on colors, Joe Caramagna on letters, and this book is gorgeous. But we knew that because it's Pepe Larraz.
Yes.
So we have Iron Man having a dream of the original battle between the Kotai and the Kree. Koti and the Kree. Kotati. Is that how you pronounce it? I always say Kotai in my head.
I guess.
Where is it? Kotati, yes. Kotati and the Kree. So Iron Man wakes from this and he's wondering why he's remembering this at this time. And then, of course, something's going down on the moon. So Avengers head up to the moon and they see the blue area has now grown into a garden. Blue area is where this original battle happened way back when the Skrulls were going to grant their technology to one of the races who proved themselves more worthy. Of course, we do know that the Kree eventually killed off the Kotati and went to war with the Skrulls. So here we see a Kree sentry that's been taken over by a plant. The Avengers eventually put it down. And then we see the Swordsman, who is an old school Avenger, who appears to help them out, along with his son, who he had with Mantis, which is what do they call him? The Messiah?
Sequoia. Oh, yeah, they do call him Messiah.
Right.
Yeah.
So he seems to be half human, half Kotati. So this is going back to some old school Avenger stuff. So he's here, the savior, and basically he's saying, of course, he needs help due to the Kree and Skrulls that are coming to kill them all. All through this, though, we get little hints that Tony is feeling something. It seems like the Messiah has some kind of bliss effect on the people around him. So the Avengers kind of dedicate themselves to protecting the Kotati from the incoming Kree and Skrulls who are out to basically wipe them out. So the Avengers agree that they're going to help defend them, and then we see the Kree-Skrull armada on its way, and in the very front of it we see a ship with the Fantastic Four.
Yes. I did want to also mention the cover by Jim Chung. Love getting a little bit of I love Jim Chung's art, so that's always fun. So just to be clear, this the King of Space that has united the Kree and the Skrull. That Teddy,
is Hulkling,
right?
Yep, that's Hulkling.
Hulkling?
Mm-hmm.
Good grief. It's going to be a problem.
And as much as
It was weird that we when we were first talking about Empyre.
Go ahead, Viet.
Yes.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Like it was weird that like we were talking about Hulkling being like the bad guy, but he's like sort of, I guess, convinced that he's being the good guy, like he's being manipulated.
Absolutely. Yes, I think that's what we're meant to understand. Although, they don't so much as mention his name, really. There's just one panel, I think, that he appears in this. I haven't read any of the other Empyre material yet. Have you guys?
There hasn't been any.
Yeah.
The Fantastic Four one just dropped, which is kind of their side of how they got where they're at. But we'll talk about that next ep. I don't know. In here, it just seems like the Kotati. I don't know. They seem a little shady to me. They may make the Kree and the Skrull the good heroes of this, maybe, but it seems like the Kotati want to. What is it?
Yeah, there's a bit of manipulation going on from their angle too. They're dictating the narrative, I guess, a little bit. It seems like. So much so that Tony is sort of prompted to like, who cares what it's just our job is just to defend them, defend, like we don't really need to hear about. It seems like they're rushing things along to be like, oh, isn't poor us? We're being attacked once again. We're always being attacked. And the Avengers, thank goodness you're here to once again defend us. And somehow, maybe there's some type of, plant pheromones that are in this garden, but they're making some of the Avengers more easy to push towards their cause. And anyways, wasn't the Swordsman a bad guy?
Yeah, there was a little time, but he died, and then the Kotati kind of brought him back, which is why he's the way he is now, and him and Mantis did whatever they did. But here's a line that the Messiah here he says, when we complete this garden, it'll be the first toward redeeming all life kind, all that tread on the lands or seas, or swim in the seas or skies. The first step towards the Kotati paradise store, eternal universal peace. It will happen.
Yeah, like a Kotati paradise, right? Isn't that what he kind of seems to be implying? Like our something that. Oh yeah, you guys will have. It'll be peace for everyone, but it's going to be a Kotati regime,
a plant paradise,
if you will. Yeah.
And don't the X-Men have a base on the moon?
Do. The Summers house is on the moon.
They do, right? So that, I guess, so the I guess that's how they're gonna be tied in, as in like we're gonna plant up your moon base.
Well, not only that, but let's not forget Krakoa is plant based as well. All the technology is plant based. So how does Krakoa relate to the Kotati? I mean, is there a common ancestor there? Is there something?
Storm usually likes to have plants.
Is there something similar between the two of them?
What if
Yeah.
Kotati? What if Kotati is a Krakoa?
So who knows?
That would be some pretty serious inter-editorial communication on their part to get the X office and the Avengers office communicating in that way would be boy.
One thing to realize too is that this event is a Avengers Fantastic Four event. Those are like the main headliners of this event. So we will have to see how it goes going forward, because it may not be too heavily involved with the X-Men. They have a mini-series, and I think the X-Men Adjectiveless book maybe ties in for 2 issues or so, but we're going to see how this all pans out, but it's very interesting so far. And I mean, let's not forget the Kotati already have agents on Earth with what we saw in Incoming when they killed the Kree and the Skrull couple that were trying to leave the planet and warn whoever. So, you know, both sides seem a little bit shady, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for they did make reference to Avengers Celestial Quest. And for, I don't know, maybe we can add this on like a throwback if we do a throwback episode.
We may have to see.
Maybe
we may have to see what years.
It came out in 2001.
2001?
And written by Steve Englehart.
Okay.
Yeah, it only makes it 20 years old at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? But that's okay. That's the kid when he's older. The Celestial Madonna storyline, which what gave birth to him, is older than that. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay. But Avengers Celestial Quest is numbers 1 through 8, and it's written by Steve Englehart, art by Scott Hanna.
Okay.
I read that one day. I miss those. I miss when they reference something and then they put where it came from.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that's back.
See issue 5 from Wallopin Wally Behrman, writer.
Editor's notes.
Yeah.
Well, editor extraordinaire. But you know what?
Now that I'm actually flipping through this issue,
that would be nice.
There is something that I don't know if this is on purpose or if they're hinting at something, but when Swordsman tells his story, he says in the end his inner demons cost him his life. He died for the cause, for the Celestial Madonna, and in so doing he became worthy of purification. His dead body was reseeded as Kotati. What if they're going to reseed everybody? What if they're going to infect and turn everybody Kotati on the planet?
Or that's the plan anyway.
That's
a possibility.
It does say something about because I think another part of that of him telling a story, it's like as all men do, doesn't he? It says he was a victim of his inner demons or something, as all men are, as all men eventually are, or something like that.
His inner demons cost him his life. Yeah.
Is that it? Yeah, maybe I'm adding a little too much to it, but yeah, I don't know. It all felt a little too kind of like neatly wrapped for the Avengers. This looks like a job for the Avengers type of thing, you know?
Yeah, and all the inner monologue of what Tony's feeling is just a little bit strange because he's not one for believing anything besides technology. You know, all of a sudden he believes in cosmic destiny.
Yeah, maybe he's already been implanted somehow by the Kotati.
Some way, certainly the fact that he had this dream and then they end up on the moon immediately following was pretty odd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the fact that we already had the Fantastic Four, we know whose side they are on, right? They're with the Kree and the Skrulls.
Yeah,
sure. So, right. I mean that does.
Well, I mean, when you see, on the last page, we see the Fantastic Four, or close to the last page, we see the.
I guess
with the Armada, the army.
Right, but Reed Richards is. My personal opinion is that Reed Richards being on the side of something doesn't necessarily mean it's the side of good. It might be the side of science, but you know what I mean. He's had his own troubles, but it's an interesting lead-in for sure. It took me I guess I had ignored kind of a lot of the promotional material about this because I don't know, sometimes if we know that there's going to be an event, I guess the way to make it give myself the least event fatigue possibilities is to kind of steer away from it until it happens. So I haven't been reading too much up on how this was going to go down.
Hold on 1 second.
The Fantastic Four being on a side doesn't necessarily make them the right side. Is just my personal opinion, but yeah, I don't know. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by this lead-in.
Usually when I see event, I'm like,
that's the oldest.
You can't make me read it.
They've done a lot since. I can tell you the Agents of Wakanda, Invasion of Wakanda, that's been canceled. They appeared on a couple of these tie-ins, so.
Yeah, so even this tie-in list is, well, I mean, imagine it's got to have by now, since it's like Empyre #1 was supposed to be out in April, etc. Ooh, Lords of Empire, Celestial Messiah #1. Think we'll get that?
Yeah, but I think this issue in particular did a good job. Like, it's a good Zero issue, right? Like, it gets you really into it. Okay, color me intrigued.
Well, and then not only that, it probably is good to say that we've got a Zero of the Fantastic Four because we're going to get their version of. And I suppose we have to maybe withhold judgment until we hear that, or until we've kind of given our.
One other thing to note: when we see Hulk in here with sitting on the throne, the two advisors he has behind him, the Kree and the Skrull advisors, they look shady as hell. So,
yeah, they
do.
Knows?
Yeah, isn't that the Kree that beat the shit out of the Guardians?
I forgot her name with the lump.
A while back.
I forgot her name.
I forgot her name too.
Editor's note: we had the wrong character. Her name is actually Nuff from the Marvel Now .1, and she was the main villain in the all-new Invaders series.
But it looks like she's the one. Like, she's a badass. She took that Gamora real easily. And maybe even Angela too, when she was on there. But she's been around since
That's Bendis' Guardians as well.
Yeah, I think she showed up in Invaders, that series for a little bit.
Wait, who are we talking about? Oh, sorry. Right. Yeah, those advisors, they do look really shady.
And is that no? That's not Super Skrull, right?
I don't know.
I don't think it's intentionally. But there's also more than Super Skrull. It's not Clerked.
I think we saw him.
Yeah.
I think we did see him in Incoming. I don't remember. It's been too long.
Self, the King of Space, as if there could ever be such a thing, but power stands behind the throne, and it seeks only our death.
I don't know. Maybe both sides are bad.
So, well, I mean, that's this hold by Sequoia. Right, so, oh, Jesus. So we'll have to see. But, this happened. Yeah, I don't know. That's good. Pretty good stuff.
Definitely entertaining.
And just continual the Pepe stuff that just gets it's like fire with time. So it's gonna have to give it 2.5 moon plants.
I'm gonna have to go way above that. I'm gonna have to give it 4.5 waking Kotati dreams.
Kotati dreams.
Yeah, 4.5 decapitated Kotati. because that was a gnarly panel. like never thought I would wince at like murder plant people, but just like.
I think my grade, I will admit, a little bit apprehensive about a giant event, but it's a good start. So I'm still sticking with it. 3.5. It's a good lead.
Bobby.
I just looked it up. I think it's Hala, like Hala the accuser.
Yes.
Like the woman that
named
might
after the
be
planet.
her.
Named after the planet. What were you gonna say, Gorlin?
I threw in the Hawkeye Freefall in here, even though I think the last 2 issues went digital only. But I sat and read it all at once. Did you finish it?
Oh
Okay.
No, I didn't.
It's fine. We'll talk about it next time. But that was a very fun book. I gotta give it to Rosenberg.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for reminding me. I gotta get on top of that. I read the first 2, so yeah, cool. Well, let's do that next time.
All right. Well, then take us out.
All right. So please feel free to email us at ep@earthsmightiestpodcast.com. You can find us in our Facebook group, .earthsmightiestpodcast.com. On Twitter, you can get at us, EMPcat, on Twitter, @EMPcast. You can also use the hashtag #TheCollectiveNet to get in touch with us and a number of other great Marvel comic podcasters in the Twitterverse. Viet, I believe we can find you at Comedian Viet on Twitter, and myself at Bobby Mobetta on Twitter. We are also proud members of the Comics Podcast Network, which you can find at comicspodcasts.com, as well as the Podcast Network, which can be found at panelsonpages.com.
All right. Special thanks to Tribe One for our theme song. Check out his site, tribe1.bandcamp.com. Is his Malibu Shark Attack up on there yet?
Yeah, he has a new song based off of the Black Lives Matter protest. It was around that time, and it's pretty rad.
Right, so definitely tune in to his new stuff. Finally putting some new stuff out, so check it out.
That's cool.
It's not on his Bandcamp page, though. It's not. We'll update the link for next episode so we can get the word out there, or you can Google it. But it is out there, so definitely give our man Tribe a good listen to. All right, that's it for this month. We will see you guys next month.
It's Malibu Shark Attack.
That's it.
Malibu Shark Attack.
There you go. So check out Tribe One there. We are out.
Now appearing in the building, up in every ear hole from 80-year-olds to the children. You're here to hear about the heroes and the villains, and save yourself some dollars, yen, and euros from the zeros to the millions. This is a lot of class packed into one podcast. They probably ought to have laws passed, but it's too late to stop the onslaught. Raw blast of compacted, bombastic, 5-alarm sass. They're talking AVX, way back to Secret Invasion. They're talking flying up high in the sky, down to the feet on the pavement. They're reading the pages of every single one of the summer events. So other than Venice, you want to be coming to them when you are the Avengers. They're up inside of your environment with flying iron fists, giant-sized Goliaths, and the tiniest super scientists. Try denying it, but I insist. There's other podcasts, but this is Earth's mightiest. EMP, literally MP3TNT. Young, new, mighty, and secretly. Try denying it, but I insist. There's other podcasts, but this is Earth's mightiest. EMP, literally MP3TNT. Young, new, mighty, and secretly. Try denying it, but I insist. There's other podcasts, but this is Earth's mightiest.
Find out more about Earth's Mightiest Podcast at www.earthsmightiestpodcast.com. Earth's Mightiest Podcast is not affiliated with Marvel Comics in any way. Plot synopses may not be accurate. No similarities between names, characters, persons, aliens, ghosts, dimensional entities, and/or institutions in this podcast are intended with those of any living, disembodied, dead, or undead person or institution. Any such similarity which may exist in this or any other universe, dimension, or altered timeline is purely, though probably not a coincidence. Earth's Mightiest Podcast is not responsible for any injuries, death, banishment to other dimensions, bodily or mental transformation due to sorcery, unplanned ingestion, or cybernetic implants, or babies conceived while listening to this podcast. We do not have anything worth suing us over. Thank you.